What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Corey Durdin to Port Adelaide. What a left field trade that has come out of nowhere. Ended up today. It's been absolutely insane the past few hours for Port Adelaide fans and obviously Carlton fans and Gold Coast fans. And yeah, this trade came out of nowhere, and I wanted to jump on here and talk about Corey Durdin and what he can bring to Port Adelaide and overall what this trade does for our future as well. It's obviously been a very interesting time, so I'm very much looking forward to talking about Corey Durdin. I do apologise in advance as well. The look and the scenery a bit different, house sitting at the moment, so that's why the scenery, there's no Port Adelaide attire or anything. I do apologise for that, but overall, the more important thing is Corey Durdin is now a Port Adelaide player, which is insane to think that 24 hours ago I was on here, I was telling you about potentials and Lee Kalir and Van Soldo being traded and these type of things, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, Corey Durdin comes along. And, it puts to bed, any talk of Jake Rogers being traded from the Gold Coast Suns or anything like that. And it's just, completely left field. Completely left field trade. I'm sitting here going, well, Will Brodie was the sure thing of this whole trade period, and it still hasn't happened. Yet Corey Durdin comes out of nowhere and gets traded to Port. So I'll talk you through the trade, and then we'll give some thoughts. So the trade that occurred, Port Adelaide get Corey Durdin and a future second round pick. The Blues get Ben Ainsworth and pick 67, and the Gold Coast get pick 29. So effectively, pick 29 is for Ainsworth, Corey Durdin is for pick 67, and we got a free second round pick basically for next year, which helps massively because it's essentially a thing where we have become so invested in next year's draft with Dougie Cochran and the hope and the blessings from the AFL to grant him into the NGA Academy under our bracket, which means we can get him with many picks and points, and it'll be an amazing achievement for that. So going by the way we're trading with picks and the essentials of what we're looking at for next year, we're trading out of this year's draft and heavily investing in next year. And that's always an indication to suggest the AFL are going to approve this, which is fantastic. And if they don't, by the off chance, then we've got a lot of picks and potentials to play with next year anyway, and trading value, which is going to be essential, especially with the year after Tasmania coming into it. So yeah, a big trade. Durdin and Ainsworth, to be honest, I would have loved to have targeted Ainsworth. I think he would be a great asset to Port. But Corey Durdin, an SA boy, Golden Grove, grew up in and around the northeastern suburbs. He's 23 years of age. He was drafted at pick 37 in the 2020 draft for Carlton. Wears the number 19. He's played 64 games at the Blues and kicked 48 goals. Not great numbers for a small forward, but we've seen him during the 2024 and 2025 years. He's been prolific for them and had a few games where he's kicked 4 goals and really been dominant. He played a full year in 2022 pretty much and kicked, I think, 15, 16 goals. This year he played 16 games and kicked 14 goals. And he knows where the goals are. He's a small forward. He's capable of kicking goals, and he's capable of playing in a system where... And I don't think he suited the Carlton system because their defensive first nature as a forward cohort was never really a blessing for smalls per se, and that's why you don't often see like a Motlop or a Durdin or these players kicking big bags of goals. Whereas I think Port Adelaide's effect is, if it's not going to the bigs, the smalls can have a run at it. We've seen Richards kick goals this year. Rioli obviously knows where the goals are, and unfortunately he's retired. And the thing with Corey Durdin is he's young. Like he definitely still has a lot to learn. His craft is definitely still there to be developed. And whilst I don't feel he's a great asset to collect, it definitely goes with the nature of we're trying to pursue players that might have not got a great opportunity at their previous club. And it's definitely in the place where we want to pick up these players that could benefit in a new system under a new coach. And, Will Brodie's been with Josh Carr before. Durdin's an SA boy. Jacob Ware, an SA boy. People wanting to come home. And, it's a real, I think, strong prospect. And I want to feel comfortable in a place where it's going to be new, vibrant. Everyone's pretty much starting from zero under Josh Carr, and that's where the recruits will feel like they have a place to be. And I think that's a very strong attitude to have. And I'm pleased with Corey Durdin And we sort of, we haven't gone and looked at going, okay, well, we will pick up someone in the draft and that'll be enough for us to cover the spaces of Rioli and Boak and so forth. We've gone to select these players for a reason. It's to give us depth and strength and still be able to develop the young players. And, we've had our mid-season pickups as well, really develop Harrison Ram, obviously McKinlay as well. They've been really strong with what they've been able to do. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can produce, and obviously Matty Liddy as well. So it's going to be a fantastic sort of depth, strength that we're going to have and fighting for positions. Whether or not they're going to cut it at AFL level is yet to be seen, but I still think that's a strong position to be in rather than a full rebuild. I'm not sure. That's just my stance on it, but with Rioli retiring, McEntee being delisted, and players that haven't really developed fully into what we suspect they'd be, like the Lockie Charlesons and so forth that have been delisted, I think Corey Durdin's asset is definitely going to be one. We'll feel more comfortable too, being at home, being an SA boy. It's a really strong position to be in. Who knows what he can do.
Low ball from Cripps. Curnow. They wobble it forward. Durdin! Big mark from the small forward. Sam can't believe it.
So there you have it, Port fans. A bit of a background look at Corey Durdin and everything he's able to bring. Strong trade this. Definitely beneficial for Port Adelaide and what we're trying to do short-term and long-term. I love the strategy. I always believe in Jason Cripps and what he's able to do. We got on the end of a short straw last year, I feel, but with the development, another year for Jack Lukosius and having a new vibrant look about the club, I think Corey Durdin's going to be an interesting solution to what's been a pretty hectic trade period so far, and one that I'm definitely looking forward to. And you know what? It's hard to really preview or give an update or anything like that about what we're going to do because there's so much more to play out. Have a feeling that, Van Soldo could be a potential for St Kilda if Marshall does end up going, where that seems to have stalled. And, there's a lot more to play out. We've only got one pick in the draft this year, and that's a third rounder in the 40s at the moment. Don't be surprised if we gain some assets for next year again, and don't be surprised as well if we end up trading in some more picks for this year due to a player leaving like Ivan Soldo or pick swaps, etc. So a lot to play out. There's still 3 days to go of the trade period, and I'm very interested to see what does eventuate. But for now, Jacob Ware, Corey Durdin, welcome to Port Adelaide. Thank you so much for watching, Port fans and fans, Carlton fans, Gold Coast fans. If you're watching, appreciate the support. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts about this trade and what you think Corey Durdin is going to do for Port Adelaide come 2026. He's obviously contracted for next year at Carlton. So for us to get him as a real big asset, I feel, in the scheme of things. I'm not saying he's the biggest trade ever, just saying he's a very good pickup. Well, hopefully. But yeah, let me know in the comments below your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content to come your way. And as always, can't pair.